Well, good morning. You know, one thing I hate when I go on YouTube and I'm looking for a how-to video or a review video of software or operating systems is that sometimes I don't know when it was made, and it gets pretty old. The versions of software changes so quick, and also the operating system as far as that matter. I've been using Linux now, I think it was back in about 2002, 2003, something like that, that I started playing around with Linux, and I never was a fan of Windows, and I go all the way back to when Windows first came. In fact, I used DOS computers and also mainframes to start out with, and I just gradually worked my way up into more of a GUI interface with Windows and Windows 3, Windows 3.1. And even before that, there was forms of GUI interfaces. And I finally graduated into Linux anyway. And I got away from Windows totally. I had just bought a desktop, and it came with Windows, and I just left it on there. But I think I booted into it twice. And once it was just when I first got it in order to set up Linux. And the second time I had to check something out in Windows. I don't even remember what it was, but I went into Windows just that one other time. And it started doing updates, and it took forever. I couldn't even shut the computer down when I wanted to. But Linux, I don't have that problem. It will do updates, and it gives me the option if I want to shut it down, if it did a kernel update or something. And I can do it whenever I want to, when it's convenient. And Windows would do a lot of stuff after you reboot it. Then it would start to install things, and it took forever for the computer to come up. Never liked it. Just took up too much of my time. Today I just want to, I know I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, but today I want to do something. I've been testing Linux, the Ubuntu right now, the 2004. It hasn't even come out yet. Today is April 18th, and it's 7:24 in the morning. I'm just now having my first cup of coffee, second cup of coffee, sorry about that. I drink about a pot of coffee in the morning to get going here. Excuse me. Well, anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about was a program called Boxes. That's this program right here. I never was much of a fan of VirtualBox, and I like to test different distros that are coming out, Linux. There's so many of them, and I wanted to see what they have to offer. So instead of using a VirtualBox, I used to just download the ISO and then install it on a USB stick, boot from the USB stick, and then test it. But that was kind of time consuming just to do a quick test. Let me just show you something once here. This program called Boxes is so simple. All you do is click on the plus sign. You can connect to a remote computer, which I do once in a while, by the way. But in this case, I want to create a virtual machine. Okay, I've got options here. I could download one, or I could download an operating system and then run it that way, or I could just go and find a image file, which I'm going to do. Now I have a folder called ISO, and these are just some of the distros that I have downloaded. For example, if I wanted to try Linux Mint 19 with the Cinnamon desktop. I downloaded this 64-bit ISO here. So I'm just going to select that one just to show you how quick it goes. Okay. Now I can customize how much RAM it uses and how much disk space, which I'll do. I don't like to test out at 2 meg, probably closer to 4 meg maybe. There's 4 meg. And as far as disk space goes, I'd like to try maybe about 40. A little bit better than 40, it's all right. Custom. Okay, so I'm going to use, I got to go back. I didn't save it. Okay, yeah, 40. Use the custom. Okay, there it is. I'm just going to create that. Okay. Just give it a minute here. Okay, let's start Linux Mint. And which is nice is the mouse works. It's doing its thing right now. There's Linux Mint. And it doesn't take long either. I'm running this on a machine with 16 meg of RAM, so like I said, I only pick 4 meg for the operating system, so that still leaves me 12 meg to operate. And it's got an i7 processor in this one, which is really good. Okay. There you see, it's booted up, heard the sound. Okay, now this is kind of a small resolution. What I'd like to do is change the resolution. So I am going to go to Preferences, Desktop. I think this might give it to me. Nope, I'm in the wrong place here. I want to go to Display, not Desktop. Alrighty, Preferences, Display. Went to the wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, let's beef up the. I'm on my monitor is 1920 by 1080, so I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to say keep this. Okay, and I could just close this. Okay, look at this. It's like running a Linux operating system, running a Linux Mint. And I can test other software, whatever I want to test. And when I'm all done, I can just exit out of here. Shut her down. Okay. Now I tested Linux Mint. Yeah, it says remove it. Just hit enter. Okay. Now I could leave this in here, and if I wanted to run it again, I could just run it again. But in this case, I'm just going to delete it because I'm going to show you that I could just go out there and grab another one. This time, let us, let's see, let's try MX Linux. This is the top of the list of the distros, and I tried to install it on a couple of computers, but I to be honest with you, you can use any flavor Linux you want. Just customize it the way you want it. Again, I'm just going to move the memory up here to about 4. Move the disk space up to about 40, I'm sorry. And then grade it. Okay. And let's just run it without installing it here. I could permanently install these in VirtualBoxes too, by the way. It's booting up, and it recognizes all my hardware. It recognizes my Wi-Fi and also my wireless, my wired networks. I got a wired networks on this one, by the way, but it recognizes it. It just recognizes it. And now we're running MX Linux, just that quick. They got some nice tools. I've checked them out already. And you can test all these things out. Just download the ISO. And again, I could just go here and all the software that's installed. They got a favorite, which is the package manager, that MS Tools we were just running. If I want to run a program, if I want to run a terminal, run some commands on a terminal, I can do whatever I want to do with it. It's just there. I love it. Well, anyway, you can see what's going on here. And by the way, too, if I go to Internet, for example, I can open Firefox. Now, I'm running this in MX Linux. I'm not running this on my Ubuntu 2004 desktop. This is actually running in a VirtualBox. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. And I can, the shutdown menu is right here. And like I say, things just don't take very long to operate. And again, I will remove it. I don't want to keep it in there. But that's how simple Boxes works. And it does not take long to test out an operating system. So I probably won't be burning many USB sticks anymore unless I want to burn one to install on other computers. Which I do. I have 3 computers here at home that I run, actually 4 if I want to count my wife's Chromebook. But I've been an Ubuntu fan for some time, and I know that there are those out there that use Slack and Debian and all these other Linux distributors, and there's Red Hat and SUSE, and I've tried them all. I mean, I've literally tried them all. I don't go to Red Hat. It's more of it is geared towards commercial use, and but as far as the home desktop goes, there's nothing I can not do in Linux that I used to do in Windows. Now, there's software that comes out for Windows, and everybody says, well, I use Office, for example, and I say, well, I don't use Office, Microsoft Office, but I do use Office. It's just not a Microsoft product. And my Windows, my themes, I can customize everything to look exactly the way I want it to look. This is my word processor that I would use, and it's LibreOffice, and I also use all the other suite products that are in the suite. Right now I'm using OBS to make this video. I use KDE Live, and the one I use quite a bit is OpenShot Video Editor to edit my videos. I use Zoom like everybody else these days for Zoom conferences, and it all runs in Linux like it runs in Windows or Mac or anything else. And if I want to install software, there's a ton of software out there for Linux, and I can load it right here, or I could set up PPAs, and I can just get anything I want. And even when I do remote computing, I use a program called FileZilla, and I have my site set up so I can actually log in. Right now, I can log in, I can connect. I'm connecting to a server in another location, and this is really great because I can grab files from anywhere. You know, it's just so convenient to use Linux. And I'm very efficient with it compared to what I was in Windows. So that's kind of all I have to say this morning. I just wanted to run this video by you in case you've been thinking about running Linux. In fact, I could even run Windows within Linux in a program called Boxes. I could actually download or take and get an image of Windows and open up Boxes. I could go plus. I could go to virtual machine, and if I had the ISO, which I don't have, I could go through that whole process of doing that again and load Windows and run it within the VirtualBox. So anyway, that's what I have to say this morning, so I'm just going to end this video. Thanks for watching.